Yo, 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 another guitar lesson here for you. I'm excited about this lesson here. I just been kind of doing this little exercise, just helping train my ear even more while I play my scales. And I just want to kind of show you guys this little exercise. So basically, when you're learning your scales, this is kind of one thing that eluded me when I was younger, when I was first starting to play the guitar. I was really fascinated, and I still am, really with the patterns of the scales. And I'm just big on pattern recognition. I guess that's just like the left brain, the logic kind of thing. So I was just feeling the music more than really hearing the harmonic. I was hearing it, but I wasn't really labeling it. I guess that's really what it is. I was just seeing it as a big scale, a big pattern, and then just jamming. And I had a blast, and I still have a blast. And that is a way to think about it. But really valuable, something that I've learned over the 20 plus years I've been playing, is now I know the patterns pretty well, like a lot of the patterns. So I'm more enamored with what is actually going on with the sound, the harmony. So that's why labeling these scale degrees is really important. If you know you're playing a major chord, you're hearing a 1, 3, 5, then you locate those in your scale. You're gonna get some really strong harmony, and you get to develop a relationship. Each number is a little different sounding. For example, let's just start here. I've got a little loop pedal going, and this is just a D major chord. This specific voicing here in the middle of the guitar, which is actually the same voicing as this shape as well. So it's just a triad 1, 3, 5. So the idea is you're going to play the scale over top of it and listen, train your ear. So take your time too. So you got root, it's obviously stable. So that's got some it's right next to the root note. So there's a little bit of clashing going on there for the second note. The 3. And I'm going to talk about how I feel about some of these, but I assume you're going to have a different reaction. It's kind of like taste in food. Everybody has a different relationship with it. But this 3 is nice. It's in the chord, so it's a strong note. So even if I was just playing with those 3 notes, I'm just landing on that 3. I know the 2's kind of tense. So it's a nice way to get from 1 to 3. And back to 1. So now, okay, so let's just keep going. So this is scale degrees, major scale stuff. Okay, the 4, that's gnarly. That one's, seems out of place, really. And one of the reasons is because it's a half a step away from the 3, which is in the chord. So when you got that half step, that's about as dissonant as you're going to hear in music. And so check it out. This is what this would sound like. You could do this. That's a half step being played at the same time. That's a lot of tension. Now you can do even more by doing this trick, bending. So that's you can get even more tense than this, but knowing that if you're playing a note that's a half step away from a note that's in the chord, you're gonna get tension. And that's kind of what it sounds like. But you can use that tension like I was with the 2, so I could just resolve on the 3. Right? Now, if you're ending your lines on the 4, It doesn't, it really wants to go to that 3 or the 5. So again, I'm just kind of sharing my experience with these notes. You need to develop your own experience with them. By just playing this scale, just get a little loop pedal, just loop a chord, major chord, D major in this example. 5, super harmonious here. It's the power chord. It's the first 2 notes in this chord, literally. So that's going to be a strong note. Still like ending on the 3 though. There's the 5. So you see, I'm just making it musical. Now I've been playing for a long time, so this is a natural thing for me to do. You're going to get more musical the more you practice it. But just understand, you can just be playing one note at a time and just listening with your ear. There's the 4, 5. Let's listen to the 6. So the 6. You know, it has its place. I like to go down from 6 to 5. I like to resolve onto the 5 a lot. And then we've got 7. So 7, I love the 7. Kind of comes out of nowhere. If I'm playing a D major 7 chord, that's what I hear when I hear the 7. So, and then you got the 8 is the resolution of the scale. You can hear why the scale starts and ends on that note. So yeah, this is kind of a listening lesson here. So I'm going to be kind of doing this playing quite a bit. So what's interesting is now we can start to really have a relationship with these notes, and we kind of have an understanding or an expectation of what's kind of the sound we're going to be getting here, whether it's going to be more resolved, more tension, a mixture of the two. So now also, so that's the major scale, and it's really important that you're grounded in the major scale, because this is how we talk about music. Because I'm going to give you an example here. I'm just going to play one of the modes, Mixolydian. This is going to show you how this works. I just flat the 7. So I know where the 7 is. I just lower it, aka flat it, by a half step. Now I have this scale. So what's that sound like? To hit that flat 7. I mean, that's a pretty hip note, if you ask me. It's kind of suggesting, maybe. So, and that basically we've just turned this D major chord basically into a dominant 7 chord, because we're hitting that flat 7. And it sounds like, gives you that bluesy kind of sound. But also, you know, the Grateful Dead did a lot of that. Beatles have dominant 7th chords. There's all kinds of bands that aren't necessarily, it's used more than just the blues, let's just put it that way. Jam bands, a lot of Mixolydian, a lot of dominant stuff. So, and now let's keep rolling though. There's all kinds of different scales we can do. So that's Mixolydian. Let's try Lydian. Lydian, we just sharp the 4. So what's that going to sound like? So we got that's the sharp 4 right there. That is Terrapin Station. That is Well, that's what song comes off the top of my head as far as any Grateful Dead fans out there. But that's, you know, it's kind of a mysterious sound. I really like it, honestly. So that's Lydian. And then you can start to see how the modes, you can start to understand the modes a little bit. Like, oh, they're just different scales. And if you see the scale degrees, develop a relationship with them, they don't change. That's the whole point of labeling. That 1 to sharp 4 is going to always give you that kind of mysterious, it's that tritone. And mixed with that major 7, just sounds kind of, yeah. So anyway, so far we've done the major scale, we've done Mixolydian, we've done Lydian. We can do pentatonic. You got to check that out. So what's the pentatonic? That you just take away the 4 and the 7. Very strong melodies are going to come out of this. Just ended on the 1 there, ended on the 3. So that's just the 1, 2, 3, 5. So we're skipping the 4, 6, and 8. And again, same loop. We've got all these different sounds and emotions that are just under our fingertips. If you just learn the major scale, just really, you know, a lot of people didn't want to, when I was growing up playing, it was like major scale, boring, I don't want to learn it. And I've taught a lot of students, and this used to be kind of a thing, but it was just, it's not boring, it's just no one told me or anyone where this leads to. And it basically just leads to understanding harmony. It's what harmony is built off of, is the major scale. So we've got, just repeat here. Actually, I'll play them all back to back here. Let's do pentatonic first. Major. Now we'll do Mixolydian. Got that flat 7 in there. Lydian. There's that sharp 4 in Lydian. Okay. What else can we do? We can do that Mixolydian flat 2, flat 6 that I recently learned. This is where you get that kind of Egyptian, Middle Eastern. I mean, the whole vibe's changed now. So, and again, it's all comprehensive. So if I know my major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I understand the scale degrees, which is simply just numbering the notes in the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I know that really well, then I know Mixolydian. I just flat the 7th note. 1, 2, 3. And this is a whole different scale. Of course, there's similarities, but that flat 7 really opens the door to a lot of things. Also, and now I forgot one. There's one more we can do. I mean, there's more than one more we can do, but there's one more I want to show you. Blues scale. Blues is over major chords, dominant chords, but they have a major triad in them. So you can turn any major chord bluesy if you want to, if you just play the blues scale over top of it. I mean, now we're just blues all day. And again, we're just over that D major chord. So just throwing some options out there. Now that one's a lot. This is a lot different than the major scale, which confuses a lot of people. But nonetheless, 1 flat 3 4 sharp 4, whatever you want to call that. 5 flat 7 8. It's the minor pentatonic with that sharp 4. You could call it a flat 5. Some people call it the tritone, whatever you want to refer to it as. It's in between the 4 and the 5. It's also referred to as the blue note. Anyway, I hope this lesson maybe opens some things up for you. Appreciate all the engagement in the comments. So if you have a question or if there's anything you got out of the lesson, just drop a comment down below, and appreciate you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. Peace out.